Namaskar. Welcome to this month's episode of Ojas, Demi God, a divine spark. First of all, tributes to the Gana Kokira Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar and the great Kathaka exponent Pandit Birju Maharaj. Before starting, as always, our heartfelt gratitude to the viewers of Ojas for watching the episodes of Ojas. Our special sponsor this time is Radha, a brand for handcrafted gift products by Medha, Galgale and Shilpa, Apte. We are thankful to the owners. Thanks a lot. Demi Gods, a divine spark, is conceptualized by Vardhan Choudhary. Demigods are the one which are born when one of the parent is the divine being. If we look at the Hindu mythology, we have many demigods such as Hanuman, Garuda, Sugriv, Karna, Draupadi, Sita and many more. This episode is based on these demigods. The artists performing today have their own ideas and perspectives while presenting some of these demigods. Today we will start this episode with the performance of Mr. Shashank Nair. He will perform on the story based on Narada. Narada, as we all know, is the son of Brahma and he who holds wooden cymbals and veena in his hand and travels everywhere in the world in 3 lokas. So, let's see how this Shashank Nair has put Narada with his views, with his perspectives.
I am Shashank Nair, a disciple of Sri Mithun Shyam at Vaishnavi Natishala, Bangalore. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers and sponsors for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Sage Narada, though not technically a god or a demigod, is the son of Lord Brahma and the divine messenger of the gods. He plays pivotal roles and creates scenarios that mold the epics of our mythology. I have chosen 3 such stories for my presentation today. First is the story of Dhruva. He learns the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya from sage Narada and is then immortalized as the Dhruvatara or the pole star. Second is the story of Prahlada. Sage Narada comes to him while he is still in his mother's womb and instills Vishnu Bhakti in Prahlada. This leads to the birth of Lord Narasimha. Finally, I portray the story of Valmiki and how sage Narada teaches him the Rama mantra by asking him to repeat the word Mara over and over again. Mara, 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 Mara. Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha, Sri Purandaradasa, is considered to be the incarnation of sage Narada. I have therefore exclusively used his compositions and Devarnamas for the lyrical bits of my presentation today. Thank you.
ಹರಿಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡು ನಿರಂತರ, ಹರಿಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡು ನಿರಂತರ, ಪರಗದಿಗೆ ಇದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ. ಹರಿಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡು ನಿರಂತರ. ಆ जपिसो ये मुझ राम मंत्र जपिसो ये मुझ राम मंत्र जपिसो जपिसो जपिसो
नमो नारायणाय।
Our next performance is based on Draupadi, also known as Panchali, the wife of Pandavas and daughter of King Drupada. Draupadi was born out of sacred fire, Yajna, along with her brother Drishtadyumna. We have seen her in various stories of Mahabharata. Today, Madhuvanti Sundararajan will present Draupadi. She is a Bharatanatyam dancer and gold medalist of Pune University. So, we welcome Madhuvanti Sundararajan. मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं सततं स्मरामि. The embodiment of strength and devotion, Hanuman, is the son of Pavanadev, hence also known as Pavanaputra. I am sure you all are as excited as we are to see the next performance by Shobhit and Ramesh from Bangalore. He is a Bharatanatyam dancer, so he will perform on Hanuman, the Demi God. Let's enjoy this performance.
கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா நான் கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா நான் கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா 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 கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை அண்டரும் காணாத அண்டரும் காணாத இலங்காபுரத்திலே அண்டரும் காணாத இலங்காபுரத்திலே அண்டரும் காணாத இலங்காபுரத்திலே அண்டரும் காணாத இலங்காபுரத்திலே அரவிந்த வேதாவை அண்டரும் காணாத இலங்காபுரத்திலே அரவிந்த வேதாவை தரவந்த மாதாவை அரவிந்த வேதாவை தரவந்த மாதாவை கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா கண்டேன் கண்டேன் சீதையை காவி விழிகளில் உன் ஒரு ஒளி மின்ன கனிவாய் தனிலே திருநாமமே பண்ண காவி விழிகளில் உன் ஒரு ஒளி மின்ன கனிவாய் தனிலே திருநாமமே பண்ண ஆவி பிரிந்த மட அன்னமானாள் நான் சொல்லுவதென்ன பூவை சிறிதடை நித்தம் நித்தம் சொன்ன புத்தி வழியே புத்தி நிலை மான பூவி திரிசடை நித்தம் நித்தம் சொன்ன புத்தி வழியே புத்தி நிலை மான பவியராக்கிய பவியராக்கியர் காவல் சிறை குண பவியராக்கியர் காவல் சிறை குண பவியராக்கியர் காவல் சிறை குண பஞ்சு படிந்த பழம் சீத்திரம் என்ன பஞ்சு படிந்த பழம் சீத்திரம் என்ன கண்டேன் 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 சீதை அடல் சேரும் வாலியை அடல் சேரும் வாலியை வானுலகில கூட்டி அவனியை சுக்ரீவன் ஆள முடி சூட்டி உடனே நீ தூது போ என்ற சொல் அமுதூட்டி உங்கிழில் பாராட்டி விட வந்த ஹனுமந்தன் நான் என்று சீராட்டி விவரம் சொல்ல உயிர் கொண்டிருக்கிறாள் சீமாட்டி திடமா லக்ஷ்மணன் செய்த பர்ணசாலை வீட்டில் தேவாதி தேவாவும் திருவாடி தனி காட்டி தேவாதி தேவாவும் திருவாடி தனி காட்டி கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் பகவானா கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் பகவானா கண்டேன் கண்டேன்
Sita is the consort of Shreya and daughter of King Janak, who found her in a box of wood, thus named her Sita, means furrow in Sanskrit. The next performance is based on this particular Demi Goddess, will be performed by Shreya Ghosalkar, a young talented Kathak dancer and performer of Pune. Let us welcome Shreya Ghosalkar.
Hello, my name is Shreya Ghosalkar. I'm learning Kathak for past 15 years from Guru Archana and Radha. Considering the concept of demigods, I have chosen the character of Sita. And in this, I have chosen a part of story from Devdatta Patnaik's book, Sita. I've tried to focus on a strong, independent woman the way Sita was. And I hope you love this attempt of mine. If there are any mistakes that I have done, I'm really sorry for it. I hope you enjoy this event. Thank you.
It was a royal cat that first sensed that Sita was with child. Then it was a royal dog, then the parrots, finally the rooster, who could not contain himself. He crowded out the news so loudly that the fishes could hear it in the river, and they took the news downstream all the way to Mithila. Janaka smiled on hearing the news and then went about his royal chores. The vultures flew over the sea and the news reached Lanka. Vibhishan was pleased, but not Shurpanakha. She traveled to the city of Ayodhya and made her way to the women's quarters, identifying herself as a hairstylist from beyond the Vindhyas. This got everyone excited. All the women were curious. Do you know of this place called Lanka? Of course. The city of gold in the middle of the sapphire blue sea where once lived the most handsome king Ravan, she said. How handsome was he? They asked. None would know him better and more intimately than your own queen. She chuckled, making the woman even more curious. When the woman asked Sita, she smiled and said, Ravan was for me but a dancing shadow on the surface of the sea. I heard his voice, I felt his footsteps, but I never saw his face. The woman, with a little encouragement from Shurpanakha, begged Sita to draw the outline of Ravana's shadow. Sita indulged them. She drew the image on the floor using rice flour. The 10 heads, the 20 arms, it was so perfect that Shurpanakha wept in memory of her beloved brother. Her tears fixed the drawing to the floor. No matter how they tried, they could not wipe out Ravana's image from the floor of Ram's palace. That is how the gossip began. It was at first a trickle, then it was a flood. Ram could not ignore it. The queen of the Raghu clan had to be above blemish. Sita was not. Take her to the forest on some pretext and leave her there. Let her not know of my decision until she is far away in the forest, far away from me, too far to protest, said Ram to Lakshman. This is so unfair. You must tell the people how she proved her chastity with fire, insisted Lakshman. A good king must listen to his people and respect the rules of his family. Why must Sita suffer for this? Because she is Janaka's daughter. She alone will not see herself as a victim as I did not when Kaikeyi forced me to exile. I can rely on her. The chariot was ready early. Before anyone in the palace had woken up, she did not expect to find Lakshman as the charioteer. No attendant in sight, no sign of Ram. Lakshman's face did not display the excitement of the excursion. In fact, he busied himself by checking the horse's hooves and the chariot wheels repeatedly. That is when Sita knew Ram's worst fears had come true. Let us go, Lakshman, all is well. Sita turned around. There was no one to bid her farewell. The chariot finally stopped. Sita alighted, eager to walk amongst the trees. Lakshman remained seated. Sensing he had something to say, Sita paused. Lakshman finally spoke, eyes to the ground. Your husband, my elder brother Ram, king of Ayodhya, wants you to know that the streets are full of gossip. Your reputation is in question. The rules are clear on this. The king's wife should be above all doubt. The Khan of Raghu clan has therefore ordered you to stay away from his person, his palace and his city. You are free to go wherever else you please, but you may not reveal to anyone you were once Ram's queen. Sita watched Lakshman's nostrils flare. She felt his embarrassment and his rage. She wanted to reach out and reassure him, but she restrained herself. You feel Ram has abandoned his Sita, don't you? She asked gently. But he has not, she stated confidently. He cannot. He is a god. He abandons no one. And I am goddess. I cannot be abandoned by anyone. I don't understand your strange words. Ram is dependable, hence God. I am independent, hence goddess. He needs to do his duty, follow rules and safeguard reputation. I am under no such obligation. I am free to do as please. You were not even given the dignity of being told. You were tricked into living in the palace, said Lakshman. You judge him, Lakshman, but I love him. You see your brother as an ideal and are angry because he has not lived up to your expectations. I see my husband for what he is and understand his motivations. At every movement he strives to be what he thinks is best. I will not burden him with my expectations. That is how I make him feel loved. And he sees me, knows that I will support him no matter what, even when he resorts to such a devious route like an errant child. Sita said with a smile. Go back home. Observe Ram well. Know that the man who calls himself the husband of Sita will never remarry. Of the king of Ayodhya, I do not know. This is not right. I can't stand this nobility, shouted Lakshman. Imagine what would have happened if Ram had refused to obey his father. Imagine what would have happened if Ram refused to banish his wife. People would forever pass snide remarks about him. Even if his actions could be justified, it is not about being right. It is about being king who is above all doubt. To be such a king, he needs our support. What will you do now? Where will you go? I was told to live you near the hermitage of sages so that you can find refuge, said Lakshman. Sita looked at her brother-in-law, older than her, taller than her, battle-scared and weary, looking down at the ground, looking like a child consumed by shame. With a smile she said, I know the forest well, Lakshman. I remember more years here than in the palace. Do not worry about me. I am not happy with this situation, but I accept it and will make the most of it. Thus, I submit to karma without letting go of dharma. A mystified Lakshman returned to Ayodhya. Sita stayed back in the forest, smiled and unbound her hair. And when the farmer abandons the field is finally free to return to being a forest.